Afrozons Show with your girl SheilaO. This is where Afrobeats meets hip hop. In the studio with me is a cultural icon, alright? I have been wanting to have this interview forever, and now he's here. He was born in Zaire, formerly known as currently known as the Republic of Congo. He came to America at age 5, and since he stepped into the ground, since he's been 5 until date, he's been making a lot of power moves. But we all have our stories to tell, but I want TUMA Basa to tell you all his story, because you all need to know why he's here on the Afrozons Show with your girl SheilaO. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Nice you did your research.
I did, right? But TUMA, you know how it is. We all have our story to tell.
Yes,
what is
absolutely.
your story, bro?
Well, I mean, my story, you're right, it did begin in childhood. But one of the best things that happened to me was when I was 13, we moved to Zimbabwe. So I spent my teenage years. So I spent my childhood in the U.S. And then my adolescence in Zimbabwe. And this is the late 80s, early 90s. So that was a blessing to kind of have that duality, like, come to life. You know what I mean? With those years, or those coming of age years. And so that's a huge part of my,
of your growing up.
Yeah.
And then how did you dive into the business, the entertainment industry?
So it's so interesting. I was just talking about this. Is when I was in Zimbabwe, and I never say this part because it was like kind of, there was a stigma for a long time about saying, hey, that you wanted to be an artist. So when I was in Zimbabwe, I moved to Zimbabwe. They were more into hip hop than they were in Iowa at the time. So they were a little bit more ahead of the curve. And so I wanted to be a rapper. I tried to call myself B2Ma B. and I even got a few spins on Radio 3, which that's ZBC's English-speaking contemporary station, the FM. You know, you had Radio 1, there's Talk, Radio 2 was like the local Mvenge Venge, and then Radio 3 was like played the TLC and the Crisscross and stuff like that. So So what happens is, so what I was just saying was, that time there was no pipeline, there was no YouTube to reach. Yeah, exactly. If you weren't physically in a New York or LA, or could get to an A&R or magazine editor, or or build a buzz through a manager who had another artist, that was impossible. Yeah. But now, the social media is there, YouTube is there. So that part of my story is very defining in what I do now, because now in Africa we look at YouTube as a way of exporting our music. It's an import-export business. It's like, okay, we've always liked what we like, or our parents like. Oops, I'm sorry.
Go on.
But now you can actually, like, for free, for the cost of Wi-Fi and electricity, you can distribute.
You have your own personal.
And that's the challenge. I was just saying. I was like this generation has no excuse.
No excuse to break it.
And what we need to do is work together, so to make sure that the visibility is high, because now there's so much. There's no barrier to entry. Now there's too much music out there. And there's a new artist coming out, new songs every day. You can't even keep up. You get tired, like, you know what, this isn't for me. But so what happens is people like you who help curate the culture, and help simplify, help translate to the masses or the mainstream, or abroad, what they call abroad. So we're important, because these are important territories, these are important markets, and also we want to be a part of the global conversation.
That's right. We have to.
We have to be.
The labels today, they're signing all these Afrobeat artists, right? Do you personally think that the labels know what to do with them? You know what? It doesn't matter. I'll tell you why. Tell me why it doesn't matter.
Because what we're going through is a learning curve. So we appreciate the interest, we appreciate the investment, and what we need to do is be a support system. Those of us who do have an idea need to give these ideas to them for free. Right, for free. Exactly, for that learning curve, so that we can get past that part of the learning cost where it's not a risky investment, so that we prove that there's an appetite for our music. You know what I mean? So that I was just in Atlanta and I did a speech, and it was about Atlanta, and it was saying success begets success.
That's right.
So we want Davido to win, we want Wizkid to win, we want Mr. Easy to win, we want Burna Boy to win, we want Tiwa Savage, we want Yemi Alade, everyone, because once that's success, it creates more opportunities, right? And also, you see what's happening in Ghana in December. Everyone going back to Ghana.
And Nigeria as well.
Yeah,
Nigeria's got the music festival, and Ghana as well.
Music is connecting, like pretty much black people all over the world.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like there's a connection, a connection that didn't exist it didn't exist like on the ground level. It existed ideologically, or etc. But now people are actually buying tickets and going to
God,
I
know. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
So that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's growth, right?
I was saying a few weeks ago. I was like, in a way, we're kind of living Marcus Garvey's dream. You know what I'm saying? Where the Jamaicans, black Jamaicans, and Londoners, and New Yorkers, and people from Chicago, people from South Africa, from Nigeria are uniting and becoming one dance floor.
Exactly.
Like literally one dance floor. It's actually unity, Pan-African unity, and it's happening how? Through music.
Through music,
yeah,
through Afrobeats. Because I always say
yeah.
Afrobeats has different genres. There's Afro trap, Afro Caribbean, Afro hip hop, Afro, you name it. The sounds are there. It's all under Afrobeats, and of course, as far as I'm concerned, Africa really generated the beats that we've been hearing since, from Missy Elliott, from the beats and everything else. But now, Tuma, do you think Afrobeat is a phase, or do you think it's here to stay?
It's here to stay. I don't know about the name, you know what I mean? It's here to stay. The movement, the wave, the force, the cultural force.
The fusion, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's here to stay. And then there's always the name part. I don't know if that will.
You think the name's going to change?
No, I mean it happens. You know what I mean? It happens it happens where movements, a part of a movement becomes more dominant, and everyone jumps on that wave, and it happens.
Well, it didn't happen with hip hop though. Look at hip hop. Now hip hop is mainstream.
But there was no debate on the name hip hop, like the Afrobeats, and then everyone at that time wasn't calling themselves I'm Afro sound, and I'm Afro fusion, and I'm Afro this,
exactly. It was just one hip hop.
Yeah, Afro wave. It was just one. So it was one umbrella, and everyone embraced it, and everyone pushed for it. And then there was even actually at that time that ain't hip hop, talking about the bass music coming from Miami, or the screw music coming from Houston. So for hip hop, there was no debate. So the movement, because if all of a sudden Tanzanian music becomes the most popular music in England, and in Toronto, in New York, in Chicago, in Houston, guess what? We're bongo flavor, you know what I mean? But it's the same wave, it's the same audience, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I was in Zambia, I heard about Zamrock.
Oh, I don't even know what
I'm telling you. I was in Zambia with Davido. We were there for a concert, because my background, just for you to know, Tuma, besides being an on-air personality, I'm also a booking agent.
Oh, wow.
So 90% of the shows that happen in Africa happens through my company Zones. And at first I was being intimidated by the William Morris's, ICMs, and CAAs who tried to come into my market and kind of like kick us out. But they got there, they realized how hard it is to do business in Nigeria, and Ghana, and Angola. So now they came to their senses, which I thank God, and now we work together. So now they'll be like, yo, Sheila, we've got Bruno Mars going to doing a world tour. Can you bring Africa? And they bring the rest of the world. So that's how the agency has grown. And that's what led me to like, okay, you know what? I love the way Afrobeat is growing in the UK, being that I grew up there. I was born in Lagos, but I grew up there. I want to make sure that comes over here as well, and that's what I've been pushing.
Wow.
Really, really hard. So that brings me to this, okay? Ever since I turned on my microphone check, ever since I did that, I was in 2017, I confidently came out and I said, this is the first and only Afrobeat show that's also nationally syndicated. Tuma, you are an icon to the industry. Yes, you are. No, don't be humble now. You are an icon, okay? Do you agree with me or do you disagree? Should I say it again?
That what?
Okay. I opened up the microphone.
Agree or disagree about what?
About the fact that since I opened up my microphone, I said Afrozons is the first and only Afrobeat show on a major FM dial that's nationally syndicated. Because people be coming for me for saying that.
Absolutely.
But I want you, culture icon,
you're right.
to say something.
No, you're right. This is the only Afrobeat pure play specialty show on FM radio in the United States, right?
Do you want to say it again?
This is the only. but what we have to do this is everywhere. In different cities, there are different cultural touchstones, right? Who on the club level, who on the festival level, on who have their own. When I say mixed shows, it's like it's not pure. This is the pure play. This is the real specialty, right? Is doing whatever we can in order to put them in positions also, you know what I mean? And that you are like the OG and you're basically saying, hey, this and this helped me, so that there's millions of them. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then we'll go back, look history, it'll be like, oh, where was the going to the Afrozons? You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. One next, you know, and that's so when people like you and me have these opportunities that we're sharing the knowledge, we're sharing the opportunities, we're sharing resources, you know what I mean, inspiring, doing our best as leaders.
Best we could do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know?
And then YouTube. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you so much.
I have to go back again and say this, all right, because I'm a strong believer of people have to know people's pedigree, all right? It's not about bragging. It's something that people have earned. Okay, it's a title. It's not like Tuma just woke up and everyone's saying he's a cultural icon. No, he earned it. Okay, he started all the way from MTV, moved to Spotify. I'm sure I've missed a lot, Revolt, and then of course now he's at YouTube. So being the head of urban music at YouTube, Tuma, what are your dreams? What are your dreams? Because you've been on the inside pushing us.
Well,
for those that don't know, he's been on the inside pushing us. But what is the dreams, Tuma?
So YouTube is huge.
Yeah,
it's humongous. We all know YouTube, the platform. We log in, watch videos, etc. But there's as a company, as a platform, there's so much to YouTube. Whether it be YouTube Originals, YouTube Music. I work on YouTube Music, YouTube. Meaning we have marketing campaigns. We have YouTube Space. You know, I mean, sometimes we even do pop-ups where we show up to different cities, etc. And it's basically that there's no information asymmetry, right? Is that everyone throughout all these worlds that I described to you, whether it be the Kingston, Jamaica, or in Lagos, Nigeria, in Chicago, that everyone is aware of not only the opportunities, but they take advantage of the platform, because the platform is now there's no excuse.
No excuse.
There's no excuse. So if you actually build your audience, if you curate your page, if you use your social media to cross-pollinate, you know what I mean, and you do it artfully, not in a way you're gonna get tired and sick and like give up. Yeah, exactly. That you're challenging yourself and you're getting better and you're accumulating. You know, like you call it the art of accumulation. I think I know a few people who are really good at accumulating. So what happens is this my dream or my vision is that we see not only the next generation, that we re-up on the next generation, but that whole movements, whole businesses come out and it's traceable, and it continues coming from YouTube. You know what I mean? And whatever initiatives, I'm working on a few initiatives that some are not off the ground yet, they're not launched yet. But what happens is, whatever those initiatives, whether it's to support creative entrepreneurs or to support independence, exactly, is that they know, hey, this was the juggernaut, this was the reason, this was what we call turnkey. You know what I mean? The moment where the door opened. You know what I mean? That was the moment. All the groundwork was done, all the grinding was done, right? And all those years of sweat and rejection, etc. Yeah. But this was the turnkey.
The door was about to be open, and then the door floats wide open.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're like, you're in heaven. You know? Yeah, you know? So
beautiful. So how can people follow you?
Oh, me?
Yeah, because people need to know.
I mean,
what's your social?
On Instagram, I'm TUMA BASA, TUMABASA. That's T as in
Tommy.
Tommy. Oh no, let's do African countries. T as in Togo, U as in Uganda, M as in Malawi, A as in
Algeria
or Angola, B as in Botswana, A as in another. We have to do another.
Angola.
Algeria.
Algeria. Algeria. S as in Sudan or Seychelles. And A as in Angola again.
That's what's up. Tuma, I really appreciate you for being there. The Afrozons Show. More with Tuma coming. Okay, more with Tuma coming. Let's check out the phone lines. I'm gonna say that. Okay. Baby Doe featuring Popcorn with Risky. It's the Afrozons Show with your girl SheilaO. Still in the studio with me is my family. Okay, he goes by the name TUMA BASA. Tuma from YouTube was good.
I'm good.
Alright. We kidnapped him today. We're keeping him over here in Chicago. Alright. Even though the show is nationally syndicated, but right now I'm filming from Chicago and Tuma's here with me. Tuma, tell us about, everyone's talking about the money. We want to know where the money's at, okay? How does the revenue stream work? Just tell us generally how it works on YouTube for someone who's just trying to post and, make money out of it.
So there's two possible streams of revenue.
Okay.
The first one is the one that we most know. Monetization is important, right?
Yeah, of course.
The first one is on the platform itself. The ads that run on the platform. So once you get to a certain place in terms of the size of audience, you're eligible, and there's a whole process. The other is the subscription, right? The subscription part, the YouTube Music, those payments or that revenue stream is very similar to like what Spotify, actually more better. Spotify or Apple and Tidal, Amazon Music, so which is a whole different ball game, and then that goes through you go through like an aggregator or distributor, and you be signed up for Performing Rights Society. You know what I mean? It's like there's ways, and actually it's so interesting. I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
Oh, let's go back to the there's even, like, let's say your song goes viral on someone else's videos, there's even ways of claiming, because that's your music.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Let's say your song goes on someone else's video.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if it goes viral, and then all of a sudden, so that's something also, there's whole companies, I'm not even gonna name them, but there's whole companies that are dedicated to going on the internet and social media, etc., and monetizing.
And you guys encourage it, because I see a lot of musical videos, like when Yemiela did her collab with Rick Ross, he was exclusive on YouTube.
Well, that was by choice. That was their choice.
That's what I'm saying. The artist is trying to push their own revenue, right?
Yeah, because if you direct everyone, to you, if you centralize your operations and they know where to find you, you become a brand.
That's right.
Like, it's not even, you become your own platform. So it's not even that you as an artist is a pal. You know exactly where to find it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like a sign outside the store.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tuma. Really appreciate this, and I look forward to coming to your next African Connect.
Yeah.
I invited myself.
Well, what we do is this. So it's Miata and Masa, right?
Let's talk about the African Connect, though, because I think that's genius.
So what we do is this. So we ended up naming it, right? Masa came from Dope Africans, right? And what we try to do is, there's a whole generation of there's like a whole generation of Africans who were born in the U.S., right? Who listen to Afrobeats, who are the evangelists, who are assimilated in American society. They're African American. Well, we all have a duality. We're African American and we're African, right?
Yeah.
So that duality is starting to become present in the music industry, where you have guys like Tunji at RCA. You guys have guys like Tunji's a great A&R. He has her. He has who else Tunji has? He has so many.
Really?
He was born in Nigeria, but he grew up here. He has Bryson Tiller, her, Khalid. He's an incredible A&R. Tunji, you have Tunde at LVRN. That's like Summer Walker, and you know what I mean, and Dram and Black. You have guys like Ebe, who manages J. Cole, and he's partners with him. Ebe is from Sudan.
Sudan.
He's from Sudan.
Yeah.
You have guys like
what about the one with Drake?
Future, he's Smiley.
Smiley,
Future, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Future, that's perfect.
You know, Anthony Saleh. You know,
Saleh, Anthony's got Nas and he's got Gunna.
And Future too. And he has Future the artist, not Future. The great one is Future the president. There's so many incredible, right? And even Miata and Masa who do event production and event, I call them event design, right? So what and there's so many. So what we did was, Grammy weekend last year, we were like, hey, let's bring everyone together who's going to be at the Grammys. And that was amazing. And like, you know what I mean? It was even Offset came through. Wale was there. We did it again, a BET weekend, and Burna Boy showed up, and Amine, and Neo, and B.O.B., and who else? I'm just naming the artists. AKA, Nasty C was at the first one. I mean, I'm just naming the artists, but there were even like actors, and it was like, you know, we're like, wait, no, there was one who was in Brazil. I'm trying to think of all the people. It was just incredible. It was just, the energy was just, because you know why? Because we loved being around each other, and it was like, we felt like, wow, finally, DJ Momo was the DJ, you know what I mean? But so what happens is this, and even what like Momo and them are doing with everyday people, and going to Bahia, Brazil, and going to Johannesburg and New York, and etc. You know, those type of things, and even what Afropunk. You know what I mean?
What Afronation is doing.
Exactly. Afronation. You know what I mean? So what happens is this. So those are the type of things that like we're seeing come to fruition. We're seeing like even that generation of executives that I just said about having success, and having success and dealing with all, it's just incredible. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know how to describe it.
Beautiful.
So we basically.
About time too, though. To get with the Grammy.
But we want more.
We want more.
We want more, and then we want to include our brothers and sisters from the entire. When I was a teenager in Zimbabwe, I used to say there was Africa and there was Geographica. And Africa is Black America. It's Black UK. It's the Black Brazil. You know what I mean? The Caribbean, West Indians, etc. Geographica is the continent. It's the geographic part, right? But Africa is so much more. It's energy. It's a culture. It's the I don't even know. We don't even know the word. Swag.
Swag. It's phenomenal.
Exactly. You know. So that's it's so bigger, so much bigger, and we have to be inclusive, and we have to like bring everyone, and everyone has to work together. There's no and let divisions just kind of evaporate. We
don't need that.
No,
we don't.
That's not. Especially us, we're not in a good position economically.
No.
To be honest with you. So, you know what I mean? So, especially us, you know? Yeah.
So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping through at Afrozons, and I look forward to doing more stuff with you.
No, we will.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.